Hello everybody. I am Mira and welcome to Midnight Mira's Scary Stories. I hope that you have already enjoyed Part 1 The Backrooms, Noclip into the Infinite Nightmare. Part 2 The Backrooms Dogman Noclip Nightmare. And now this is Part 3 The Backrooms Mr. Giles Noclip Nightmare. These are all stories by Mr. Lights Out. Ethan Reyes came back wrong. I knew at the moment I collapsed onto the park bench. The world looked the same, cold concrete, city lights humming, a distant siren wailing through the streets, but something inside me was different, like a thread had been pulled loose in my reality. The comic shop stood right in front of me, its neon sign flickering like a dying heartbeat. I ran my hands over my arms, my chest. No blood. No fangs. No hunger for blood. No thick coat of fur. No immense power. But something else lingered, a bad taste in my mouth, like the rot of something long dead. The taste of a clown. My heartbeat pounded erratically, too uneven, too fragile. My senses, once heightened to the finest detail of the world around me, now felt duller, muted. The city smelled normal. Faint exhaust fumes, stale garbage, and distant food carts. My ears no longer caught the smallest shuffle of movement. Now, the sounds of the street were just noise, blending together without distinction. I was human again, with regular, unremarkable senses. The raw strength, the instinct, the primal clarity that had once coursed through my veins, gone. I was weaker. Vulnerable. And for the first time in a long time, I felt small. Too much. It was all too much. If you like stories like this, I do spend long nights making these videos for you. Let me earn your subscription tonight and ring my bell. I will be ringing the bell also when I have new stories for you. Now, back to the story. I needed to move. The night air was thick, pressing against my skin like something sentient. The comic shop's neon sign flickered, casting shifting shadows on the pavement. My gut told me to keep walking, but my feet betrayed me, halting just outside the entrance. A gust of air, stale and ink-scented, blew from inside. The door creaked open on its own. A whisper slithered into my ear. "The story isn't over, Ethan." I clenched my fists, my nails digging into my palm. No. I wasn't going back in. Then I saw it. The comic book, lying just outside the threshold. The cover had changed. It no longer said Dogman Chronicles Noclip into the Wild. Now, it read, Dogman, The Hunt Begins. And beneath the title, a picture of me. Eyes black as ink, teeth bared in a twisted grin. My stomach churned. I took a step back, but the pavement rippled beneath me like liquid. The carnival music started up again, distant at first, then rising in volume, distorted and broken. I turned to run, but the alley stretched impossibly long, twisting, shifting. I was not clipping again. A scream caught in my throat as I plummeted, weightless, the world dissolving into an inky void. The last thing I saw before darkness swallowed me. The flickering neon sign of the comic shop, distorting into something unrecognizable. And then, I hit the ground. I was in the carnival. Towering Ferris wheels turned on rusted hinges. The carousel's painted horses grinned too wide, their teeth sharp and glistening under the flickering lights. The scent of burnt sugar and rotting fabric filled the air, thick as smoke. Shadows moved in the corners, whispering. Laughter erupted from every direction, high-pitched and warped. A horde of grotesque jesters, misshapen clowns, and ink-stained monstrosities emerged from the darkness. Their bodies twitched unnaturally, stitched together from scraps of forgotten nightmares. Then I saw him. A rusted iron cage hung from the tallest tent pole. Inside, an emaciated man gripped the bars, his eyes sunken, hollow. The name came to me in a whisper, Mr. Giles. "Ethan," he rasped. "Get me out. They're trying to force me to rewrite the comic, to bring back the clown." Before I could move, the jesters lunged. I let go. I felt them both inside me, clawing at my core, but they refused to emerge. The blood count lurked in my veins, the dogman curled in my bones, but something held them back, something wrong. Even the clown's presence lingered, a sickening weight in my gut, like he was still rotting inside me. Mr. Giles clutched the pen and paper the jester had forced into his hands, his fingers trembling. The minions had tried to make him rewrite the comic, to resurrect the clown, but now he had the chance to change the story, to turn the nightmare against them. A surge of ink burst from the page. I felt it, my body twisting, shifting, the blood count took over. My strength returned tenfold. I leaped into the air, my claws slicing through the grotesque monsters. Claws erupted from my hands, fangs stretched against my lips. I tore through them, ripping them apart like paper, their ink splattering against the carnival floor. They shrieked as I ripped, shredded, devoured. But they kept coming. I was losing ground. A monstrous, towering entity crawled out from the ink, one final creation of the carnival's will. But before it could strike, Mr. Giles scribbled again, turning the page of fate. I became the dogman once more. A snarl tore from my throat as I ripped through the nightmare, tearing apart the carnival, the minions, everything. I reached the cage, slashing the lock apart. Mr. Giles stumbled forward, gripping my arm. "We need to go," he croaked. "Before the carnival traps us both." The world shook. The tents buckled, the Ferris wheel cracked apart. The carnival was collapsing in on itself. We ran. Bursting through the exit, the world folded behind us, reality snapping back into place. We stepped into the comic shop, and everything had changed. The chaos, the dust, the warped shelves, all of it was gone. Instead, the shop looked exactly as it had the night Mr. Giles was abducted by the clown and its minions. Neatly arranged comics lined the walls, the air smelled of fresh ink, and the warm glow of soft lighting bathed the room in an eerie sense of normalcy. Mr. Giles hesitated, his eyes scanning the pristine shop with quiet unease. He walked toward a display, his fingers brushing over the covers. Then he stopped, his expression tightening. His hand hovered over a particular comic. I followed his gaze and felt my stomach turn. A new comic sat there, its title bold and unmistakable, Dogman Swallowing the Clown. The cover art. Me, my monstrous dogman form, my jaw stretching wide as I consumed the grinning, writhing form of the clown. Mr. Giles exhaled sharply, then turned to me, his eyes filled with something unreadable. "So, you ate the clown?" His voice was even, but there was a weight to it. I couldn't answer. I didn't know. Mr. Giles let out a nervous chuckle, but his expression never softened. "That's going to be a problem." That's it for this episode. Thanks for coming. Come back for some more stories, guys. Kind regards to you. Are you brave enough to step into the pages of the unknown? Hit that like button if you love spine-chilling horror, subscribe if you want more terrifying tales, and comment below, would you take the comic book or risk the clown's wrath? And please ring the bell for notifications, I will ring the bell also for you. And if you love horror that keeps you up at night, check out my books on Amazon, available in ebook, paperback, and hardcover. All from Mr. Lights Out, the master horror fantasy author from the Philippines, an expat and vet. Writing books and making videos is his self-cure for minor PTSD. The nightmares don't have to end here, but once you start reading, will you be able to stop? The link is in the description below. Thanks to Lara's Horror Sound on YouTube. But beware, some tales will not stay on their pages. Dare to read. The Aria the Aswang Slayer series, where creatures of the night are real, and they are hungry. The Curse of the Manananggal, a tale that seeps into your mind and lingers. The stories are waiting. The shadows are watching. Thanks for watching, horror fans. Stay out of the backrooms, and whatever you do, don't stop reading.